Mama June gets candid about addiction. Says, I was so addicted that I forgot I even had daughters. Mama June has had a tough time dealing with her crack addiction. We know how she lost her fortune and herself to drug addiction, although now June is getting her life back on track. It took her quite some time to realize what was pushing her into the black hole. In a tell-all interview recently, the reality star shared her harrowing tale of consuming drugs and how it took her away from everything dear to her. Mama June Shannon reveals her first introduction with addiction. In an exclusive interview with Sober Nation FM, June got candid about her drug addiction. She revealed her introduction to the drugs and the way it spiraled out of control, resulting in a complete loss of sobriety. June began by describing the common situation of several addicts. She said that initially, she was able to function and do production. However, things went downhill after she and Gino were exposed in 2019. June explained that her producers knew about her addiction all along the way. However, they pushed it under the rug and never discussed it. It was only when the whole story caught media attention that they realized how grave the matter was. Nonetheless, June adds that by the end of that season, she was already in and out of it. June grew up surrounded by drugs, had first child at 14. June looked back on her days growing up and revealed being surrounded by drugs. She added that her sister and brother-in-law used to sell drugs. She went on to explain how she was never a party person. In fact, the reality star had her first child when she was just 14. Around that time, June was doing 3 odd jobs and had no time to think about the wild lifestyle. However, in 2000, she met meth and instantly fell in love with it. As she was drawing home more money, she saw meth as a means to cope with a busy life. The infamous reality star spoke about meth keeping her awake for longer time. She instantly added that days of staying up 17 days. 14 days is super bad for anyone. But then, by 2004, she got away from the addiction, and life was back to being easy. However, coming back to her hometown in 2014 brought her back on the muddy path. Then she met Gino in the later 2015, for whom she had to give up on meth. By 2016, she was consuming cocaine. June Shannon spent a fortune on her crack cocaine addiction. June admitted that her children always knew about her addiction. She always kept them in the loop. However, Pumpkin was the first to spot Gino's needles, after which the couple decided to hide their items. But in 2019, they were arrested and exposed, thus bringing their addiction into the limelight. June also revealed about spending around $3,000 to $4,000 a day on her crack cocaine addiction. She let go of her possessions to get her dope, and that's how she ended up spending a fortune on a thing as bad as addiction. Mama June Shannon is no stranger to headlines, but her latest candid revelation has left fans stunned, heartbroken, and deeply reflective. In a raw and emotional confession, the Mama June from Not the Hot Star admitted that her addiction once consumed her so much that she literally forgot she even had daughters. This shocking admission, though painful to hear, sheds new light on the reality of her darkest days, when drugs and destructive habits overshadowed everything else in her life. For years, the world has watched June's roller coaster journey unfold. From her rise as a reality TV personality alongside Alana, Honey Boo Boo Thompson, to her fall into the chaos of addiction, arrests, public meltdowns, and estrangement from her family. Now, with her words hitting social media and fan pages like a thunderclap, people are beginning to fully grasp the depths of her struggles and the devastating impact her addiction had not only on her, but also on her children, who were left to pick up the pieces of a broken home. Mama June's admission comes at a time when fans are still divided on whether or not to fully trust her redemption story. While some celebrate her recovery and applaud her for being transparent about her past, others remain skeptical, still haunted by the memories of when her addiction tore her family apart. Her daughters, especially Pumpkin, Lauren Efford, and Alana, were forced into situations no child should have to endure. Pumpkin had to step into the role of guardian and caretaker, raising Alana while also raising her own children. The weight of responsibility she carried was enormous, and her relationship with June suffered as a result. Alana, on the other hand, found herself growing up without the consistent support of a mother figure, instead leaning on her sister to provide the stability she needed. When June now says that her addiction made her forget she even had daughters, it validates what fans and her family had long suspected but never wanted to believe, that her struggles consumed her so fully. She could not see past the drugs to the family who loved her. It is rare for a reality star to peel back the curtain in such a brutally honest way. Mama June has faced plenty of criticism in the past for glossing over details, deflecting blame, or shifting focus when the spotlight grew too harsh. But this latest revelation strikes a different chord. It feels less like a PR move and more like the words of someone who has finally come to terms with the gravity of her mistakes. Addiction, as June described it, wasn't just a bad habit or a poor choice. It was a disease that controlled her mind, her body, and her soul. It made her forget her daughters, the very people she had once fought so hard to protect. For fans who have followed her since her Honey Boo Boo days, the idea that she once forgot her kids even existed is gut-wrenching, but it also makes her redemption all the more significant. If she truly hit rock bottom to the point of forgetting her children, then her current journey of rebuilding relationships shows just how far she has come. The effects of Mama June's addiction were not limited to her family relationships. They also played out in the court of public opinion. Fans remember the tabloid photos, the mug shots, the chaotic scenes of June, and Gino Doak spiraling together. She became a cautionary tale of how fame and fortune could be squandered by addiction. Critics wrote her off, calling her irresponsible and selfish. Yet through it all, her daughters never fully gave up on her. They may have cut ties temporarily. They may have voiced their disappointment loudly on camera, but deep down, there was always a flicker of hope that the woman they called Mom would eventually return to them. June's candid statement about forgetting she had daughters is painful, but it also validates the resilience of her children. They were the collateral damage of her disease, and yet they managed to hold on to each other and survive without her presence. For Mama June, speaking out about the depths of her addiction is more than just a confession. It's also a way to inspire others who may be battling similar demons. Addiction thrives in secrecy, and by putting her darkest truth out into the open, she's stripping away the shame that often keeps people trapped. Her message is clear. If she could lose sight of her own daughters and still manage to fight her way back to sobriety, then there's hope for honest reminder of just how destructive addiction can be, but also a testament to the power of recovery. June often says that recovery is a daily choice, and that she takes it one day at a time. Her willingness to admit just how low she sank could very well encourage others to seek help before they reach the same depths. Her daughter's reactions to her ongoing honesty are still a mix of caution and hope. Pumpkin, who has long been the rock of the family, has said that actions mean more than words, and that she needs to see consistency from her mother. Alana, meanwhile, has been more vocal about her feelings of abandonment, expressing that it's not easy to forgive and forget the years of chaos. Still, both daughters have shown glimpses of healing in their interactions with June. It's not perfect, it's not complete, but it's progress. And that progress feels even more powerful now that June has admitted just how far gone she was. Forgetting her daughters is perhaps the most extreme form of neglect a mother can confess to, but in admitting it, June is taking accountability in a way that could help mend those fragile bonds. Fans on social media have responded with a tidal wave of emotions. Some are praising Mama June for being so transparent, saying that her confession could help break the stigma around addiction. Others, however, remain furious, arguing that forgetting your children is unforgivable no matter the circumstances. These divided reactions highlight the complicated relationship the public has with June. She's a polarizing figure, loved by some for her resilience, loathed by others for her past mistakes. But regardless of where fans stand, there's no denying that her words have sparked important conversations about addiction, parenting, and forgiveness. In many ways, June's revelation has forced her audience to confront uncomfortable truths about how addiction destroys families, not just individuals. Her confession also reignites the conversation about generational trauma and cycles of dysfunction within families. Mama June's struggles didn't just affect her. It created ripples through her daughters' lives that may last for years. Pumpkin's maturity beyond her age, Alana's trust issues, and the family's strained dynamics are all part of the fallout. By being honest about the extent of her addiction, June is acknowledging that her daughters paid the price for her disease. That kind of honesty could be the first step toward breaking the cycle. It allows her daughters to process the truth rather than live with half answers, and it gives them the power to choose how they want to move forward in their relationships with her. As Mama June continues her recovery journey, this confession could mark a turning point. If she stays committed to her sobriety, continues to be transparent, and works to rebuild trust with her daughters, she could transform her narrative from one of failure to one of redemption. Reality TV thrives on drama, but also thrives on redemption arcs. June's story, if she continues to move in the right direction, could inspire countless viewers who see their own struggles reflected in hers. It's a long road ahead, and nothing will erase the years of pain her daughters endured. But the first step is always admitting the truth. And by saying she forgot her daughters, June has admitted the unthinkable. For now, fans are left to grapple with the weight of Mama June's confession. It's shocking, heartbreaking, and raw, but it's also real. It strips away the glossy editing of reality TV and reminds everyone that behind the headlines is a woman battling a disease that nearly cost her everything. Her words may never fully heal the wounds left behind, but they serve as a stark warning of how addiction can consume even the most important parts of a person's life. Mama June forgot her daughters, but today she remembers. And in remembering, she's fighting not just for her own recovery, but for the chance to finally be the mother her daughters deserved all along.